Hi folks, this is Jay. Hope you're okay today. It's good to see you. I just want to talk about the fact that in my experience of talking to atheists, that many of them are on are kind of one-trick ponies. You know, basically, what I've noticed with a lot of atheists is they latch on to some kind of idea that they've heard from some atheist. So, like, they'll latch on to a concept by Sam Harris or something about morality. So they'll think, right, morality is just a behavioural, um, biological function, and that's all there is. Or they'll latch on to Dawkins' evolutionary concept of what morality is, or something like that. And they latch on to some of the one key idea or something. So they might pick up something from Richard Carrier or something from Dr. Price, and then when you talk to the atheist, they kind of talk to you and they say, well, you know, you're narrow-minded, you're a creationist, but when you're listening to them, you can hear the rhetoric coming out, and yeah, you can say, well, this one's been influenced by Sam Harris, and you just hear them parroting Sam Harris, or you can hear someone parroting Dr. Price or parroting Richard Carrier. And when they're arguing with you, they're not arguing with you, they're arguing with William Lane Craig. They think you have like your arguments based on what William Lane Craig says, not realizing, for me, I come from a Reformed tradition, so therefore I'm influenced by Abraham Kuyper, I'm influenced by Dr. Bavinck, I'm influenced by Francis Schaeffer, etc. So they don't know where I'm coming from. They don't know that I'm influenced by reading postmodern philosophy, etc. You know, so they talk to you as if you're like espousing William Lane Craig. But the point is they're in the intellectual straitjacket of rhetoric, and all they're doing is parroting some person they've read. And when they're like that, it's very hard to punctuate it and to get them to think. So often what I try to do is I try to bring in thinkers and scholars from different disciplines and parameters, and bring that to atheists, and they can't cope with it because they push it aside, and then they just keep on this straitjacket, intellectual straitjacket that they've put on from listening to someone like Sam Harris or something like that. So basically, if you're an atheist today, a lot of the thinking that you have is not your own thinking. It's come from that you've just taken it from some atheist thinker or some atheist YouTuber who you respect. You've got this in your head, and actually you're not willing to listen, and you're not willing to really think, because the problem with you is you don't hear, you're not hearing. And the other thing as well is you think everybody's the same, you think all theists are the same, but we're all different as well. We all have different understandings. The Calvinists are not the same as the Arminians. You know, I'm in between. I'm not a Calvinist, I'm not an Arminian. I'm a guy called Charles Simeon influenced me, but you don't really know that as atheist, because you think everybody's a William Lane Craig. Not that I've just done a video on William Lane Craig, but I'm just saying we're all different. We all tackle theological issues in many different ways, from different angles, and also even when you're challenged, if I was to bring up recent scholarship in an area, you're not willing to listen because you're just full of the straitjacket, intellectual straitjacket that you put on by listening to someone like Sam Harris or Christopher Hitchens, and you're not willing to listen and to hear. I can prove this quite categorically. I can prove to you that you're not willing to listen. Okay, I'll prove it. Okay. When was the last time that you read Calvin's Institutes? I rest my case. I rest my case. How on earth can you criticize or critique Christian theology when you've never even read Calvin's Institutes? That is where I'm coming from. A lot of my ideas and thinking comes from John Calvin. But you've not even read John Calvin. Okay? A lot of the Reformed epistemologists out there, Reformed apologists, have been influenced by John Calvin. And yet you claim to be a person who knows about Christianity and feels that you can go around critiquing Christianity, but you've never even read John Calvin. I'll give you another example. Have you ever read Abraham Kuyper? I rest my case. I'll ask another question. Have you ever read Athanasius? No? I rest my case. You're in an intellectual straitjacket. You don't really learn about Christianity. You don't really read about Christianity. You don't really engage with the best Christian theologians. And you think every Christian theologian is the same. And on top of that, you're not really reading widely. And the key theological text that you need to read before you can talk about these subjects in an intelligent way. There we are.